Hello, everyone, and welcome to Madhouse on Halsted. I'm your new host, Colin Vickroy, and here's to a new spring semester. Unfortunately, I am the only one that was able to make it today,
Bruh.
and I am greatly appreciating the new soundboard. Conveniently, I forgot to have the clapping sound effect on when I introduced myself, but that's about it. So, who am I? Well, uh, I'm a Bulls fan, same as Mateo, previous host. By the way, don't worry. Uh, all the other hosts will be here eventually. None of them could make it today. It is truly unfortunate. Mateo was on a trip to UIUC. Ohm has something going on. I forgot, I'm going to be honest. And Jack is celebrating his girlfriend Jane's birthday. So, shout out to Jane. Happy late birthday. But I am absolutely terrified to be doing a show alone, and I'm going to be honest about that, but I'm going to do my best. So, yeah. Uh, like I said, I'm a Bulls fan. I actually have not been a Bulls fan for a very long time. As compared to Mateo, I'm in my infancy of my Bulls fan years. Mateo's been a fan for his entire life, and I've been a fan for about 3 or 4 years. I've been watching it in 2021. I started watching it on and off when a couple of my friends would watch it, but I didn't really fall in love with the games and start watching them individually until I think the 21-22 season specifically. I watched DeMar DeRozan hit two buzzer beaters in a row, second of which was against the Pacers, I believe. And he was the first player in NBA history to do that. And after the season the Bulls had been having, it just seemed like a very hopeful thing, something that the fans really needed. Although, it wouldn't really benefit them in the long run. Seeing as how, DeMar's gone, Zach's gone, everyone's gone. Well, not everyone. Not enough people are gone, actually. But, as I was saying, it just kind of made me fall in love with the game of basketball. Like watching DeMar DeRozan hit those two shots, or sorry, hit that one shot, specifically in the Pacers game. I was just like beside myself. Because I didn't even know what to think. At one point, I was just like, "Well, we shouldn't be down. We shouldn't be in that situation. We shouldn't be we shouldn't be losing. Period." But then the other half of me that was a little more reasonable was just saying, "But it's awesome that he hit that shot. Double buzzer beater, just insane." And after that, the people I was watching it with, co-host Jack and recurring guest Carter Levin, we were just going insane. We ran outside screaming for a couple hours. We were just going crazy. We felt the energy of that moment, and I hadn't felt anything like that since I was a child. So that's kind of what made me fall in love with the game of basketball. Um, Now, getting to know me in like general. Um, there's not really a lot going on with me right now, if I'm being honest. It's just school and sleep. So, my major is teaching of English in secondary schools. Next semester, I'm actually student teaching. And, my whole life, I've been interested in English. I've been interested in literature, TV shows, things that are in kind of like the literary genre, if you know. And I originally went to college to be a writer. I was going to community college and I was like, yeah, I'll take these creative writing classes. Awesome. Yeah, creative writing. That's going to work. And I absolutely hated just like the process, right? Like, I like producing works. I don't like the way that they were doing it. And I really just didn't know what I was doing in the grand scheme of things. So I was just like, this isn't for me. And also, the only thing broker than being a teacher is being a writer. So I was like, I'm gonna go one step up from there. I'm gonna teach it, and teaching was a right choice. I am really happy with the choices I've made as an educator, future educator, I should say. And at first, I thought the same thing that I did when I was first writing. I thought, no way am I going to be able to do this. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I was promptly told by the entire education department, yeah, nobody knows what they're doing for the first 5 years, which is hilarious. But it was also reinforcing, I guess, reassuring, because it's not something you can wing, but it's something that you can't be good at immediately. And I really like that. I really like helping students find their voice, help them interpret literature, just kind of look at the world around them in a way that maybe they didn't before. And that's what I like about literature the most. That is why I chose it as my discipline, because heck, I could teach math, you know. I don't think I'd be nearly as happy, but I'd be teaching math, you know. It'd be easy and I could just transmit some knowledge to students, but something that works with the humanities, like English or literature analysis, um, it really helps you view people in different ways that you haven't seen them before. Um, it's all about personal experience, and I love the idea that I get to teach that to students. Um, but that's enough of that for now. I could talk about this for hours because it is really my life. But my other hobbies, I'm a big fan of video games and anime. I haven't watched any good anime recently because, frankly, there hasn't been much. But in terms of games, Lethal Company, surefire one. I play that a lot with my friends. I have not been playing it as much recently because my PC is kind of it's not doing well. But and I also haven't had the time to. But um, other games than that, my favorite game of all time is Xenoblade Chronicles. That's another thing I could go on about for hours, but for our purposes, we are here for basketball. So I will be talking about basketball primarily. In terms of hobbies, well, yeah, I just said that anime games. Um, I love working out too. Although last night during my leg lift, I did something to my right foot and I've been limping on it all day. That is not fun, but uh, we ball. Excuse me. The music I listen. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's coming over my throat right now. I swear I'm not sick. I'm just tired. But the music I listen to. My favorite band of all time actually changed very recently. It is a Japanese jam band called Cassiopeia. Primarily, I think they started doing like smooth jazz, but they just have branched out with so many different types of genre in the genre and style in their discography that it's like I don't even know what to call them but a jam band. My favorite album from them is probably Bittersweet. Has my favorite song from them, Go On. Um, if you're a fan of like jam bands, non-lyrical music, and definitely like smooth jazz, I would say go check out Cassiopeia. If you're a smooth jazz fan, check out their self-titled album. That is their second album, I believe. Weird, but it is their most well-known one, and it's just full of like beautiful smooth jazz tracks. Just check it out. My favorite from that album is Swallow. Um, Other music I've been into. Here's a departure. I have been listening to a lot of My Chemical Romance recently. I've never been an MCR fan my entire life, even when I was 13 and had a sister that was very much an MCR fan. I did not listen to them until now. I really just kept it strict to Panic at the Disco and a few Fall Out Boy songs from here and there. But for some reason, this year the MCR demon has been awakened inside me, and I don't really know what to do about it. My favorite song from them is "Thank You for the Venom." That's all I have to say about My Chemical Romance. So, now that you've gotten to know me a bit more, why don't we talk about some basketball? So, This is a podcast about the NBA, but more specifically, the Chicago Bulls. I'm not going to be talking about the Bulls for 50 minutes to an hour every week. Frankly, the damage that would do to my psyche would be immense. The damage that it would do to my co host psyches would be even more immense. So, we're going to be talking about other NBA stuff too. I have never, ever wanted to just focus this podcast on just, well, even when I wasn't a host, I would try and steer them away from this, but like, don't tell them that. They probably know that. But we're going to be talking about other NBA stuff. And holy cow, since the last podcast, there has been a lot, and I mean a lot of NBA news that's happened, right? Um, Obviously, we're going to be talking about that one trade. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. We're going to be talking about Jimmy Butler going to the Golden State Warriors and how he's breathed life back into it. We're going to be talking about trade rumors that are going around for this next offseason. And we're going to be talking about the best teams in the NBA, OKC and the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, before we get to that, well, we got to get the bad news out of the way. Chicago Bulls suck in every aspect. We've dwelled on this for so many hours, but I just can't stand it because it's so negative. But I'll be damned, we have to talk about it. Bulls are bad. This trade deadline, we did something. Okay, you know what? I'll give them that much. We did something. We traded Zach LaVine. What did we get back for him? We got our own first-round pick from San Antonio. Thanks, San Antonio. Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter. Okay, Kevin Huerter is the one good piece out of this. I think that Kevin Huerter is a knockdown three-point shooter. I think he just gets underplayed and over-criticized for essentially no reason, right? And Zach Collins. Now, Zach Collins is not good. I don't know what words I'm allowed to say. I don't see a word wall anywhere, but just until I get confirmation, I'm gonna hold off on using any sort of like harsh swear words. Zach Collins is not great. Okay, he has been maybe the best, like a top 5 player on the Bulls since he's got here. I don't get it. I think Billy Donovan just loves his white centers. There's got to be something about that in there. But yeah, I don't really know how to feel about Zach Collins. Maybe he could be a backup center. But as an evaluation, getting our own first round pick back, I think maybe we got like a second too. Our own first round pick, a second. Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, and Zach Collins back for Zach LaVine. No, that is not enough. Not enough by any stretch of the imagination. But that is just all our front office can get, right? We've said it time and time again. Arturas Karnisovas. Oh my God, he's just such an underwhelming nothing burger of a GM. He will, like, oh my God. At the very least, for the Luka trade, Nico Harrison, as much as everybody's hating on him, he got back Anthony Davis. We could have gotten something like, dude, give us like Malik Monk, If you're going to be giving us like any players, give us one that's like, it doesn't even have to be as good as Zach. Just give us something to work with. That's not just like a strict role player. Give us somebody who averages like 16 to 18 points per game. Give us somebody who can really impact something on the floor without having to rely on every other player to create shots for them, like frankly Kevin Huerter. It's just so disappointing. The one silver lining, if you can even call it that, is that we're allowed to tank now. Since this was a 3-team deal with the Sacramento Kings, San Antonio Spurs, and Chicago Bulls, we got our own pick back from the Spurs. Good. I like that. Am I pretty sure that it was going to convey if we traded Zach even not for that? Yes. I absolutely think that we would have missed the playoffs this year. But this coming draft, is amazing. I have not looked too far into it, but I've been hearing a lot about Ace Bailey and Cooper Flag, and I cannot stress enough that I am absolutely excited for this. Right? Hold on. Okay, sorry. Audacity froze for a moment. I was a little scared. But like I said, I am absolutely excited for this draft. I don't care where they go exactly, unless one of them's going to the Bulls. I really want to hear about another young bull added to the team. That's not as that's like as interesting as Modest Buzelis, but yeah, interesting and exciting, I should say. But um, right now we're projected to be eighth in the draft. I'm hoping we jump, but that's not realistic. Um, and it's not like we won't get screwed on draft odds either. Pistons were number one in draft odds for the last like two drafts, uh, and they got like what fifth picks both times. Yeah. With the Bulls' luck, I don't expect to not be shafted, literally ever. Um, we just kind of suck as an organization, and I think we need to fire AK first and foremost. We need we need the Ishbia brothers to withdraw their stock in the Suns and put it into the Bulls. Buy some of that away from greedy Jerry Reinsdorf. Oh my God, I really want to be done with Reinsdorf right now, but that's another side tangent. Um, so yeah, we lost Zach for nothing. Um, just like we lost DeMar. And you know the funny thing about that? Same three teams were involved in DeMar's trade too. DeMar actually went to the same team as Zach. Yeah, they're teammates again. Isn't that awesome? Not saying that is like an I'm jealous thing. That duo is a match made in hell, right? That is a oops, almost. That is just an awful, awful duo, right? So yeah, I don't know why the Kings saw the 2022 Chicago Bulls and said, "Yeah, I want that. I want that." Because I really just don't get it. The 2022 Chicago Bulls were one of the most annoying teams to watch ever because once Lonzo Ball went down, nobody was getting like nobody was like I don't even know how to put it. Like everything just fell apart, right? He was our only point guard at the time, which Lonzo, shout out Lonzo for actually like coming back and playing games. That was awesome. Didn't expect to see that happen ever. But I just remember like being up 20 and then being down 5 within like an 8-minute stretch, and it's just sort of like what happened, guys? I think that is a lot to do with like Billy Donovan being such a weak coach. Like, oh my god, I the way I look at it, um, I guess like to put it as an analogy, there's a player on the Hawks named Clint Capella, and he's kind of old, but he's a good center. He's a solid center. There's nothing he really excels at except he has a job, and he can do that job most of the time. Billy Donovan is like Clint Capella if he were a coach. Just the weakest absolute answer for anything at any given time. He doesn't really excel anything at anything except like he loves his three guard lineups, but those have been pretty bad historically. The only good team he's been a part of was Thunder when Russell Westbrook was there, and we know how insane Russ is. There are no MVP caliber players on the Bulls. What what like at some point it is like what do we expect him to do, but at the same time he's not exactly impressing anybody with his coaching prowess. um we need to get rid of Billy. We need to get like a really good solid rookie that has promise and then just fire Billy. Start looking for a good coach overall once we get good players. And then just kick Billy out of there. Um it's just kind of sad. Um and Kings head coach right now to tie this back to the Kings, not good either. He's not bad, but I don't really know who he is. And there's a reason for that. He hasn't been really doing much with his roster. Yeah. Um, that's all I got to say about the Kings. Way to go, guys. Way to go, Bulls. Way to give up our best player for nothing. Way to go. Now, moving on to other Bulls stuff. Ayo Dosunmu, one of my favorite players on the Bulls, out for the season. I believe that he had like a shoulder alignment issue that he actually required surgery from or for. And I am just a little sad about that. Like I said, I was one of my favorite players. And he's just been hurt so much this season that a lot of the development that I thought I was going to see, because it looked like he was ready to break out last year. Not maybe to like the way that Kobe broke out, but he was just going to show himself as like a really impactful player, like an all around kind of guy, you know? He was shooting well from three. He has he can accelerate extremely quick on the fast break. Super talented fast break finisher. He was really, really smart with the ball. You know, maybe not like a primary playmaking option, but like a secondary playmaker. Awesome. Okay. And the standout thing about his game, his defense, he is an amazing defender. There's always the, I don't want to call it a meme, but there's like the recurring joke among Bulls fans that Io just owns Trey Young. Like, Trey cannot score if Io is the primary defender on him. I don't know what makes Io so good at defending Trey, but he just is, right? And all of that was I was I was just thinking he's going to get better. He's going to be one of those like high impact standout role players. Even if he doesn't stay on the Bulls, I will still be happy and I will still be able to watch him, you know? It's going to be awesome. This is going to be great. And it was robbed. I I don't even know how many games he's played this season. I would assume it's like maybe 20. And by the way, we're 3/4 of the way within or into the season. Um, not great. Not good. Not good at all. And now he's just not going to be here for the rest of the season. It's really disheartening to see because he's just such a fun player to watch, such a quick player. Oh my gosh, watching him like run the fast break and just shoot down the court, it's just something to see, you know? It's something that I think goes relatively unrecognized among NBA players, among NBA fans, especially, I should say. But yeah. Now, time to time to fulfill my contractual obligation. This is UIC Radio, where music and culture ignite. I don't have anybody else here that I could like help segue this in much faster for, but yeah, uh, that's one of two UIC Radio where UIC Radio where music and culture ignites of the podcast. So yeah, enjoy that. Back to Bulls news. Josh Giddey, controversial figure, but he has been balling recently. Absolutely balling. Since the All Star break, he is averaging 22.3 points per game, 10.8 rebounds per game, and 8.5 assists per game on 57% shooting. I don't want to look at his defensive splits because those are some really good offensive stats. But oh my, oh my, that is just really good. I wish I could like Giddey more. Like I said, controversial player, controversial for reasons that shouldn't be controversial, but often do end up being controversial for some reason. But yeah, if Giddey is going to be part of our long term, I would at least like to see him be good. And if he's not going to be part of our long term, I would at least like to see him generate some assets for us, you know? But yeah, Giddey's been playing great. Admittedly, I haven't had a lot of time to watch Bulls games recently. this semester, like I said, it's been tough. I'm student teaching next semester, so there's going to be a lot of stuff that I have to do this semester just to mentally and I guess like organizationally, procedurally prepare for it. Um, but enough on that. I wish I could see him play because apparently he's been like he hasn't been taking a lot of threes, but I saw a stat that he's shooting like 70% on them, which I know is an unsustainable stat. It's not a stat that's going to stick around for more than like probably this month stretch that he's been going crazy. But Josh Giddey knocking down his threes is kind of a great prospect. Josh Giddey being a 3 level scorer, great prospect, you know? Okay, I say 3 level, like he has a mid range game. Josh Giddey being able to knock down a shot from the perimeter, amazing, great prospect. So hopefully, if he keeps up these stats, we may see a future in which Josh Giddey is finally off the Chicago Bulls and part of another team that I guess needs a point guard desperately. But whatever, I don't care. Get him off the team. Matas Buzelis, awesome, awesome kid. I have again, haven't been watching Bulls games. I have been watching his highlights that I see peppered around social media. The kid is just like a nonstop highlight reel. And the crazy thing is, that's not even his biggest strength. He's not just like a great offensive player. He doesn't have that, like, okay, he does have that. He's going to have that even more in the future. Mid range game. That thing is going to look nice in a couple years. 3 point shot, still working on it, whatever. It's a 3 point shot. I'm not going to be so mad about it if he's shooting like 30 something percent, like low 30s for his first year. Because, like, dude, he's a rookie. He's got more than enough time to grow. And, it's not his finishing, not his mid range, not his 3 point shot. It is his defense. His defense has been ridiculous. I've heard it said that he is another Andrei Kirilenko. I've heard him say that he might be the next Andrei Kirilenko. I wasn't around for Kirilenko. I know what kind of player he was, though. Lanky, defensive shot blocker, you know? And if we can get a guy like that on the Bulls, a team that, like, frankly, isn't known for its defensive play. Excuse me, I'm looking at the soundboard right now, and I gotta scoot this mic away just because it's picking me up a little. But a guy that's known for his defensive play while having like Matas's like offensive upside, that is just a major, and I mean major role player, and he also just cares about the team so much. He wants to be on the Bulls, which is more than any other NBA player can say right now. And there's just something about that is, again, as I talked about with DeMar earlier, hopeful. Matas represents hope to this team, and I want to see more of that in the future. I want to see him absolutely shine on this team. I want him to get as many opportunities as possible. If he needs to go through a little phase where he's like airballing like mid-range shots constantly, that's fine. We're not going to be good anytime soon. Let Matas take those shots. Let Matas play his butt off in defense, right? Love Matas Buzelis. Recently, I believe he has been starting. So glad that Patrick Williams isn't starting anymore. I don't know if Pat is hurt or what, but frankly, I don't care. Patrick Williams should not have been starting at all this season. I think that he should have been demoted to the bench. Oh my God. If we're going to start him anyway, he should have been demoted to the bench like 40 games ago. It's impressive how bad Patrick Williams has been, even when, like, compared to other seasons, he's showed signs of potential and growth. Like, sure, I think he did shoot like the highest percentage in catch and shoot threes in the NBA a couple years ago. He did shoot like 37% from three a couple years ago. He did play really good defense against Giannis in a lot of those Bulls Bucks matchups. and he still dribbles the ball off his foot out of bounds. You know, it it is actually impressive how incompetent this dude is. I genuinely, and we're paying him 20 million. Oh my, I forgot. I forgot we're paying him $20 million a year. That, oh my, I think he's on the payroll for the next 3 seasons too. Holy, holy. Okay, okay. Patrick Williams, go now. Anyway, if he's just gonna ride out that contract money for the next 3 years, I'm fine with that. As long as we don't extend him after that, because he won't be showing any signs of improvement. But, um, yeah, Madhouse is starting in place of him now, and I'm so very glad um, that Madhouse is finally getting the opportunity he deserves. Billy Donovan said something. I'm sorry, that was me putting my phone down. I got a text from my landlord. But Billy Donovan said some crap like he's not equipped to handle starter minutes right now, and it's like, what are you talking about, dude? He is like the best player that we have had in about, or sorry, best rookie that we've had since. Jesus, I don't know how long it's been since we've had a good rookie. Um, I guess like Lowry Markkinen. Not that I think that that Madas is gonna be like a lights out shooter like Lowry, but like if you look at the comparisons, it's somewhat similar. Um, why aren't we starting him? Why aren't we letting him play like the dude he is? He has an impact. Defense has a huge impact on the game of basketball. Who the heck doesn't think that it does? Like Billy, come on. And again, weak coach, weak team. Um, but yeah, that's just breathe, Colin, breathe. Anyway, I'm happy that Madas is getting starter minutes now. Super talented finisher, super talented defender. I can't wait to see him more in the future. Now, where do we really go from here? We've got Kobe. We've got okay. We don't got Io right now. We've got Giddy. We've got Vooch still. Vooch is still on the roster for whatever reason, right? And we've got Madas. Where do we go from now, right? And my answer is I don't really know what the Bulls are thinking. I'm hoping Vucevic gets like shipped off this offseason because we're not going to get anything back for him. We're probably going to get even less than we got for Zach because, we Vooch has been playing so well this year, and we weren't about to get. We're not going to get more than we would for him if we traded him this deadline. If we traded him this deadline, we probably could have gotten like a promising young player. Not like a star, but like a really good young player that might have some really good upside in the future. But now, it's we're probably going to get some second round picks for him. Let's be real. And it's just frustrating to see because, Vooch has been shooting, I want to say like 38, 39% from three on no, he's not taking 6 attempts on maybe like 4.5 attempts a game. Love that. Love that for Vooch. It's not going to hold up next year. He's not going to shoot like this next year. We're not going to be able to trade him like we should, or like we realistically would have been able to do this last offseason or this last trade deadline. And it's just with our future, like where are we actually going with this? Because Kobe White, like as much as I love Kobe, I think that sometimes he's a little too good. Um, like great dribbler, great finisher, uh, solid defender. I'll say solid and great 3-point shooter. What are we like? that is like a real impact player. If we traded Kobe White, he could be really, really good on another team. Like really good. Not like franchise cornerstone or multiple time all-star good, but he could be a high impact role player. But on this team, like, is he just going to be the number one option for the next couple of years? Because that prospect is ridiculous. I don't think, like, I love Kobe. He's not a first option, you know? But I guess that's just a question that I'll leave blank for now. We'll probably be learning about it more and more in the next couple months, especially around the draft. But the question of where do we go from here? I don't know. Hopefully, farther up the draft board. But yeah, as a transition, you are listening to UIC Radio, where music and culture ignite. Alrighty. Now on to our general NBA news. Of course, we're going to be talking about the Luka trade. I'm gonna save the complaining. I'm gonna save the Nico Harrison is so bad. Nico Harrison is stupid. Why would he ever do this? We've heard it before. You know, it was a bad trade. Anthony Davis got hurt immediately. Kyrie just blew his ACL, which is so tragic. Um, I, you know, my heart goes out to Mavs fans everywhere, you know. But it's just so surreal, is what I want to talk about. Nobody likes to see the Lakers. Nobody likes to see one of the most talented players in NBA history in a Lakers jersey. Luka should not be a Laker, and it pisses me off that he is. And it pisses me off the discourse happening around LeBron because of this. Now, I'm not going to say one thing or another about, like, oh, LeBron is not the greatest. Like, I don't really care for the GOAT debate. I never really have. But I think that playing with Luka literally does make LeBron better. Because it takes so much of the defense off of LeBron. Because you look at everybody around him, not self-creators, right? Except for maybe Austin Reeves, which shout out Austin Reeves. He's been balling too. And it just allows LeBron to be more LeBron, you know? And I don't know how to feel about it. Like, yes, I know LeBron's 40, and since turning 40, he's averaged like 20, 28, 8 and 8. Like sorry, 26, 8 and 8. That's his MVP season stats that also match up with what he's averaging since turning 40. And it's just I don't know how to feel about it. LeBron is an amazing player. He's a great player, even if we're using the special form of great. But oh my God, this is the best teammate he's ever had, and it hides his weaknesses so well. Because so much of like the defensive load from the opposing team is taken off him, he can lock down on defense a lot better since that. And I think he's just kind of like locked it. Like he's not like bought out of the idea of winning a championship anymore. He's definitely more bought in than ever because, you know, when Anthony Davis was his teammate, right? He wasn't thinking that he was going to compete for a championship. He was just kind of like, yeah, this isn't going to happen again. Luka Doncic comes to the roster. Amazing. They have a shot at contending again. And that trio, I'm not saying Austin Reeves is a star, but that trio of Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves is absolutely insane. I don't know how they managed to put it all together and have a lockdown defense on top of that. There's got to be some witchcraft happening in Lakers headquarters because what the hell is going on? I don't know if this is going to keep up, but God, I really don't want to see this like go crazy in the playoffs. I really hope OKC just blows the pants off of them, but that has yet to be seen. OKC blow the pants off of anybody but the New Orleans Pelicans. So, yeah. leading into this, or sorry, to transition, Lakers have been on a tear. I don't really understand how they've been on a tear, but I think JJ Redick is a really good coach. Um, he's got to be to lead a team like this. And it's just kind of speechless to see what the team is doing right now because how do you lose Anthony Davis and then your defense becomes like top five? No sense. No rationale for that, but it did. Jackson Hayes is not that guy. Jackson Hayes almost killed his girlfriend. Hate Jackson Hayes. Really, really like abhor Jackson Hayes, right? Um, but somehow he's been working as their starting center. They have Alex Len in the rotation. Just I I don't know, man. Lakers, they've got some witchcraft going on. They've got some level of ridiculous defensive minded identity, defensive minded plays going on. It's just I can't even put it into words. Oh my god. Um yeah, I guess LeBron's in the position to compete for a championship again. Whack. Speaking of the other Western Conference juggernaut that's not OKC or the Lakers, Jimmy Butler has been traded to Golden State. I cannot say for sure that this is going to result in a championship. My initial impressions were that it's not going to. I think that I'm sorry, that Jimmy is old. Jimmy will continue to get older. And paying him 120 million over 2 years is just kind of like it's putting nails upon nails in the coffin, you know? But I think that Jimmy has really turned this around a lot. I thought that Jimmy was washed. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I thought Jimmy was just like lying about like not being happy in Miami and just wanted to get another payout because like his production was dipping. No, as soon as he got back to Golden State, he's been averaging like I think close to 20 a game. His assist numbers have been up. His rebounding numbers have been about the same. He's been the defender that he's always been. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And now that they've got another guy who can get his own bucket, a guy that can create for himself and others, Steph has started to look like Steph again. He's not getting shut out to like 10 to like 2 to 10 points every other game. Steph has looked incredible the last couple games. Um, and that really makes me think, are the Warriors back? And my initial answer would be no. Uh, their starting center is either Draymond Green, which is the better option, or Trace Jackson Davis. And I think TDJ is a terrible player, right? But Lakers don't need a center. Why do the Warriors? And I guess we'll never know. So it just looks so inexplicable how these two Western Conference teams have just risen up out of nowhere, especially the Warriors, dude. I thought the Warriors were dead in the water. I thought that, okay, I still kind of do think that Steph is washed. Because, like, Steph has looked great, but when is the honeymoon period going to wear off? Jimmy is a great player. Don't get me wrong, but he's not Luka Doncic. He's not a generational talent that can just explode in production every single night. There are going to be some rough nights. And when Jimmy's not doing what Jimmy needs to do, is Steph just going to go back to being shut out again? I think the answer is yes. Um, and frankly, I don't think that there's much to do about that. I guess we'll see once playoff time comes around. I guess pretty soon, I guess, the honeymoon period will wear off. And we're going to see what that team is really made of. I'm excited to see it. I'm going to try not to hate on the Warriors and Lakers as much as I can. But, God, those teams really piss me off. Moving on. Two top teams in the league, Oklahoma City Thunder and the Cavs, are still on absolute tears. OKC, although they've had health struggles, they're still really good. Now they're all healthy, and now they're really, really good. Um, Chet being back in the lineup obviously provides so much more versatility, not just defensively but offensively. Um, there's not really any weaknesses that Chet has. Maybe perimeter defense. He is more of an interior defender, but like major offensive weaknesses, none. Um, it's just sort of like monstrous to see because that team is so loaded with talent, and they're gonna have to pay them all within 2 years. And it's just sort of like, when is this? Is this just gonna like come crashing down? What is gonna happen with this? Who's gonna be here at the end of those 2 years? Because look at Shea, he's getting paid on a max. You look at oh wait, that team probably doesn't have a very high cap, don't they? Do they? Because the only players that I know that are on like maxes and mid levels is Isaiah Hartenstein, 29 mil a year. Shea, who's on a max, and I believe Lou Dort is on like a mid level exception. So they will have money to pay him. Hopefully, a couple of those guys are willing to take pay cuts because they're going to be going way over the cap otherwise. Um, and the second apron is something terrifying that I think a lot of people want to kind of hide from now. Rightfully so. Not having a mid level exception is kind of ridiculous. I think that the new CBA is some worse crap, but I'll I'll hold my tongue for now. Shea recently has been on a historic run, specifically scoring. I think he's had like 70 something games in a row in which he's scored 20 or over, which is just insane. Um, Shout out Shea. Shea, I don't think you're a free throw merchant like everybody else. If you look at his stats, percentage free throw per drives is about as much is about like average for players. He just puts more drives in for the sorry. He just drives more than the average NBA player. He is not a foul merchant. I swear to God. Just look at him play. Look at his stats. You will know what he is and what he isn't. And to the Cavaliers. At the trade deadline, the Cavs acquired DeAndre Hunter for literally nothing. I think they gave up like Karis LeVert, 2 seconds. Got this 3-and-D wing offensive nuke off the bench. I think he's leading the league in points off the bench at like 20 per game, something like that. Ridiculous. And Cavs just got him for nothing. A plus trade for the Cavs. He's been pretty good with them so far. So good, in fact, that the Cavs are on a 12-game win streak. That's something. Um, Shout out to the Cavs, man. I just got to talk about this for a little bit. I have been on record about my hatred for Donovan Mitchell multiple times. I don't really hate D Mitch anymore. It was just that 170-point game against the Bulls that had me just seething, you know? Absolutely seething. Just because every time he drove, he was getting fouls. He was just getting free throws, opportunity after opportunity. He traveled on the last play of regulation before overtime, and that play sent it into overtime. Like, it was just such a bad game, but I'm over it now. I can respect Donovan Mitchell because he's really trying to fit in on that Cavs team, and he is. He's still dealt with like injuries this last year, but the Cavs are still like 52-10, I think. Whew, real good team. Um, yeah, to be doing all that without Donovan Mitchell being 100% healthy is really, really impressive. I think he's mostly recovered as of recent, which is good. You love to see it. And there's not really much else I can say. Like, Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell have been playing amazingly together this year. Evan Mobley might be the defensive player of the year. I believe his three-point volume and percentage is up. Jared Allen is being Jared Allen, amazing. And they just have this really interesting wing rotation where it's like Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, and He's not a wing, but he is their first guy off the bench. Sam Merrill. Am I thinking Sam Merrill? Here, hold on. I need to Google something. Ty Jerome. Sorry. Sam Merrill is their rookie this year. Ty Jerome is this shorter guard, comes off the bench. Whenever they need him to, he can drop like 15 to 20 at will. It's honestly really, really interesting to watch. But like I said, small forward rotation. They got like Isaac Okoro, Max Strus, and Dean Wade, all of which are like average to knockdown shooters on any given night. And it's just this really effective blend of like offense and defense. I don't know. I'm really, really excited to see how the Cavs do this offseason, which is surprising because, historically been a hater of the Cavs. I've historically kind of been a LeBron hater. Even though I wasn't around for the LeBron years, I'm still like, lol, I hate the Cavs because LeBron. But, yeah, kind of historic season from the Cavs. I'm glad that they're finding success without Braun. You love to see it again. Moving on to another East contender. Boston has come out of their shooting slump. I don't know their exact stats in the last games, but they haven't really dropped a ton. I still hate Tatum. I don't think my hatred for Tatum will ever fade. I saw this interesting tweet the other day that I want to share with everyone because this is extremely, extremely accurate. So the tweet was essentially calling Tatum the Drake of the NBA. And what they mean by that is he has the resume and everything else to back up him being the man, except the respect of his peers, right? And that's just so true. Tatum, amazing player, right? Still hate him. I still think he's soft. I'm still going to use words like that to describe him because I hate him, you know? And he does really have a reputation for dropping the ball in the biggest moments. I'm shrugging right now. You guys can't see this, but I'm just like my shoulders are extremely high. Tatum's just not that guy. I really don't like Tatum. I don't think he's a dog either because dog it implies that you're willing to like go really far for your team, that you're willing to put your body on the line. And Tatum really does not do that. Like somebody I'd call a dog. Dennis Rodman, Jimmy Butler, people that literally give everything. They put their bodies on the line. They hustle every play. Jason Tatum does not do that. Jason Tatum will dribble on the perimeter for 15 seconds and jack up a three. That is literally all he does. I think that, okay, admittedly, he has reduced that behavior a little bit this year. But at the same time, yeah. His offense, it just doesn't really hit. I really hate Tatum. I hate watching him. I hate how he talks about anything. Okay, Tatum, this is another thing why I hate Tatum. He is like the OG clip farmer of this generation. If we did it. Okay. Oh, I almost said a prohibited word. I just said, yeah, okay. Yeah, awesome. This is definitely our generation's anything is possible. Like, what are we doing here, dude? There was also, when they were playing the Cavs, I think it was last week, they started off 25-3 Celtics. Like Celtics were up 22. And Tatum was just like, throwing his hand over his shoulder saying, get out of here, get out, get that crap out of here. And they blew that lead and ended up losing the game. Another tweet I saw about that specific moment was Tatum always trying to do like cool stuff, right? But the universe just goes out of its way to make it not happen. And I could not disagree more. The universe does not go out of its way to make you down like at the, how do I even put it? The universe does not make you lose games. You make you lose games. You do like basketball games are not luck. Golden State Warriors did not win 73 games in 2016 because of luck. You don't miss 3-point shots because of luck. You don't blow a 22-point lead because of luck. It's just, oh my God. Hold the man accountable. Hold him more accountable than he already is. Come on now. But that's enough about my Tatum hatred. Very quick, through our last couple headlines. Victor Wembanyama is out for the season with deep vein thrombosis. This is super serious. If you remember, blood clots ended Chris Bosh's career early, and that is just absolutely devastating. Um, I know for a fact my dad had DVT, bringing a bit of personal experience into this, and he was in the hospital for a couple days because that thing has a really, really high chance of like developing into a blood clot, breaking off, and then giving you a stroke or a heart attack or something like that. And I believe my dad's was in his left leg, Wemby's is in his right shoulder, and he's been sidelined for the rest of the season because of this. Sucks to hear, but he's expected to be back next season. Um, bit of other Spurs news. Greg Popovich, who coincidentally had a stroke at the start of the season. I don't know if it was blood clot. Actually, it has to be blood clot related, right? But yeah, bad luck for the Spurs with blood clots. Jesus. But Greg Popovich, not expected to return this season. His future is uncertain with the Spurs. He has said himself that he wants to continue coaching and wants to get back to it as soon as possible, but he just does not know when that's going to be. Um, so that's kind of scary because that messes with Wembanyama's development as well. Um, just not having your head coach because, you know, Greg Popovich, debatably best coach of all time. Playing under him is going to help your development a lot. And not having that is only going to hurt it a lot. So prayers up for both Pop and Wemby. I really want to see that Spurs team succeed now, especially now that they've gone all in with trading for De'Aaron Fox. Wouldn't that look really unfortunate if Wemby his career ended early and Greg never returned to coaching because of issues unrelated to basketball? So yeah, there are a couple trade rumors for this offseason too already. It's not even the offseason, but we all know Kevin Durant is going to demand out of Phoenix. He tried to get traded at this deadline, but that didn't work. Um, all the deals fell through, and it's just like who's gonna want Kevin Durant? Like at this point, it's like him posting that. It's like this post of a guy comparing it to some internet culture stuff. Just taking a picture of himself, right? And he posted on his Instagram story saying, "Who want me?" And the replies were 100% no one. Nobody. Question, "Do you want me?" Replies, "No." No one does. Especially because he's on a last year of a max deal. I think it's like 56 million he's getting paid next year. He's going to be 37. And although he's still a great player, still an amazing high production player, he's just not there. He might get hurt anymore, or he might get hurt more. Um, it's just he's in a tough spot, and this might be the last time we see Kevin Durant contend, or at least I should say, Golden State might be the last time we see Kevin Durant contend. Other NBA trade rumors: LaMelo Ball does not want to be on the Hornets. I get it. Um, Hornets have done a horrible job about drafting and building around him. At least they have like Brandon Miller, who again is another player out for the season. He's going to be helping them, I guess, rebuild. He's going to be probably their franchise player because he is good. Brandon Miller, healthy, active, good. But LaMelo Ball, I can't even fathom what teams he's going to go to. I don't know if the Bucks are just going to shaft Damian Lillard like that and try and pair Giannis with young LaMelo Ball. But hey, we'll see it work out. I really don't have any ideas for where LaMelo would go because there aren't really a lot of teams in need for a point guard. Off the top of my head, Rockets would be a crazy destination because Rockets have quite a few picks, if I remember correctly. Um, they should. Oh, do they have any Nets picks left? Let me Google this. Actually, fun thought exercise. Rockets first round picks. They have a pick swap for Houston. Sorry. Okay, they have a 2025 draft pick for OKC or Phoenix. They have their own 2025 pick. They've got a. Oh no, that's their. I lied. That's their own second round pick. They've got Phoenix's first round pick for 2027. They've got a pick swap with Brooklyn for 2027. They've got their own 2028 pick. They've just got a couple of their own picks now. Wow, I didn't even realize that they were um, so out of picks now. They had like a ton of picks just a couple of years ago, but Houston Rockets aren't really looking to draft anymore. They could really get in LaMelo Ball for a lot of their picks and other players. Like, get rid of Dylan Brooks, get rid of Fred VanVleet because you got your point guard now. That would absolutely like explode that offense, right? Especially if LaMelo can stay healthy. Other teams that maybe need a point guard. I did draft the Bucks, but that was more of like a funny idea than anything else. Um, you trade Kevin Durant. Finally get the Suns a proper point guard. Send him to Houston. But I don't know. I'm out of ideas. And it has officially been over 1 hour. I'm exhausted. Um, this was a fun-ish first podcast. Um, it was kind of tough to talk for an hour straight, just my voice. Um, Luckily, next time I'm going to have some co-hosts to help back me up. So look forward to that. Next week, Friday. Ooh, not Friday, I think. I think my date actually got moved. Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. Tune in to Madhouse on Halsted. We're going to have at least one more co-host. Hopefully, Jack will be here. And hopefully, Mateo and Ohm will be here. Look forward to it. I'm excited for it. I'm finally glad to get back in the studio with all the guys after 3 months. But yeah, this is Cullen Vickroy signing out. I'll see you guys next week.